You might find cultural resources that are associated with the original inhabitants of this country. We also have things like folks going in homesteading post Euro-American colonization. You can also find objects right up until, last week when some guy threw out a Coke can and you go, "Arr," and you put it in your backpack, right? So all these things leave traces behind. Human activities leave traces behind. Structures, there are good reasons not to want structures in wilderness. At the same time, some structures may be reflective of the landscape's past. That, to me, is one of the things that contributes to the wilderness's character, is understanding that people have been here before. There's not a prescription for dealing with structures in wilderness. The National Historic Preservation Act provides a process that you go through to evaluate the significance of the structure and whether it's an important structure significant in the larger scope of American history. If it's eligible to the National Register or on the National Register, that's got to be factored in. If you have the right people at the table, they're going to be able to tell you, yeah, this structure, we've got 4 better ones in an adjacent area that's not a wilderness. Let's say you have something that kind of falls in the middle between, oh, this is so significant, there's only one of them, versus, oh, we got scads of them. Maybe you have some kind of a structure that is a pretty good representative, actually, of what it is, and because it's been a wilderness, it's in good shape, it hasn't been tinkered with. You could say, well, it has a level of significance, but really would wilderness values be served by leaving it in here? On balance, after all the right things have been considered, we think that it should be allowed to just kind of crumble away. At that point, you can mitigate for that. The most common way we do that is extensive documentation. You can do that and say, all right, we've done right by this structure. It was important enough to document like this to mitigate for its loss, but it wasn't important enough to keep it here. You may not, quote, preserve it in its form as it stands in this place, but you can preserve it for posterity by having a very specific type of documentation done for it. The consultation process under the National Historic Preservation Act basically offers scope for the entire universe of ways of preserving not only objects and their physical characteristics, but things that render them significant to living people and will keep them that way for generations moving forward.